You're watching WDSU TV, Channel 6, New Orleans. We're building WDSU around you. This is News Channel 6 at 10.
And let's get you to our top story tonight. What could have been a dangerous situation is now under control when a would-be robber holds a local businessman hostage. Good evening, I'm Dan Cambre. Ken Jones is off tonight. That situation ended only a few hours ago. It began as a robbery in the parking lot of Applebee's on Veterans in Metairie. WDSU News Channel 6 reporter Mike Aiken is live in Jefferson Parish. Mike, what can you tell us?
Well, Dan, this strange story actually got started down the street here, just a little ways in the Applebee's parking lot at the corner of Division and Veterans Boulevard. That's when a man walked up to one of the customers and pulled a gun. The customer then ran inside the restaurant. The man then began walking down Division Street here with the gun. Now, sheriff's deputies responding to the scene saw the man walk into the Oriental and Asian market in the 3600 block. The suspect then put his gun to the store owner's head. The owner's wife ran in the back. The owner's two daughters and possibly some customers ran out the front, and several officers ran in.
Responding officers went into the business. They attempted to try some negotiations with the suspect. One of the officers from the street crimes who responded to the area was inside the business at the time. The suspect was ordered to place his weapon down, at which time he then pointed again at the victim. The officer fired several shots, striking the victim 3 times.
Now, that man remains at East Jefferson Hospital with unknown condition on his injuries, and officers are not releasing the identity of any of these folks yet because they say they're not sure about the shooter or the suspect in this case. They're not sure where exactly he's from. There's a lot of questions about this case tonight, but hopefully police say they'll have everything sorted out here shortly, and no word yet on what kind of charges that man may be facing. Reporting live in Metairie, Mike Aiken, WDSU News Channel 6.
Okay, Mike, thanks. Overseas, heavy airstrikes are pounding Tora Bora. The question tonight remains, where is Osama bin Laden? And the president is pushing for an economic stimulus package following the 9/11 attacks. Let's get you to the latest as America continues to strike back. Right now, the president is calling for lawmakers to pass the package before the holidays. He says too many people have been hurt, resulting from layoffs. And workers dig and move the rubble at the World Trade Center site, removing a 5-story piece of facade. We'll have a live picture just a little later in our newscast. Meanwhile, U.S. Marines are setting up a base at Kandahar's airport in southern Afghanistan. At least 50 al-Qaeda fighters have already been captured. Let's go to Peter Ford in Afghanistan for the latest.
Again today, we have been watching these massive airstrikes devastate al-Qaeda in their hiding places and force them to flee or surrender. Afghan tribal fighters backed by U.S. and British special forces are launching relentless ground attacks against the terrorists, hemmed in now on one high ridgeline.
It is estimated that there are a number of hundreds of al-Qaeda and possibly Taliban forces holed up in the caves and tunnels, and Afghan opposition forces and U.S. forces are pursuing them.
Tribal commanders say they have been talking to the al-Qaeda on their field radios, urging them to surrender. Intelligence officers want information on Osama bin Laden, who they say was heard on a field radio here this past week, directing his fighters.
If we gain control over him, we then would probably move him to a secure location, and there would be a process of interrogation.
At Kandahar, U.S. Marines are building a prisoner of war camp big enough to hold 300 al-Qaeda and Taliban captives. It was near here that a reporter for Britain's Observer newspaper claims to have found al-Qaeda plans to build a massive remote-controlled bomb to be detonated in the heart of London's financial district. On a stopover through Ireland, Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld met some pilots returning home from Kuwait and stopped to share a drink. And an emotional moment. Airstrikes